was completed. But Reason Gaming has a little bit of everything. You've secured that early to mid game with Lulu Kalista in there. You have the late game scaling with Cinderhulk jungler and the Shyvana top lane, so technically double Cinderhulk from them. It's a very good all-around comp. Question is, can they get the engage on to a Giants lineup, which is going to be easier to start fights against because of that Hecarim, because of Rek'Sai being there. So less protection, more overall damage instead. And if Pepinero does land some good poke, we're going to have to see that Hecarim coming in with TP and just like one-shot whoever has already been poked down and secure the kill. But it's a very different way of playing it for Giants. It's a lot harder to execute this one compared to the one before.
Well, here are the team compositions that are going to be executing that strategy from Giants and Reason Gaming. Of course, use those hashtags once again. Get on Twitter, send your votes in using GIAWin or RGWin, and then we'll be seeing what your responses are throughout the match. I don't feel like it's changed too much, honestly, Deficio.
No real reason to. Giants Gaming obviously won the first two games. And Whirlip here running with the Ignite. So he's looking for the early pressure in the top lane against the Shyvana. Let's just go back to Frederick camping that lane. You have Rek'Sai who's going to out-damage the Gragas. The Ignite Hecarim is going to out-damage the Shyvana in the early stages. So your 2-on-2 lane is so strong for Giants. That way you also prevent the lack of flash from Hecarim being a problem. And you know Corki's not the lane you want to gank anyway. No real kill pressure, real setup for Pepinero here. So look for that top lane here. Look for Frederick to secure vision and then gank for the Hecarim over and over.
Yeah, before Kuban gets to that point where he can start trading up against him. If he's dead, then he can't trade with him. So now 2-0 in this series. I know, that's how I play my solo queue games. So Whirlip in the top lane. We're getting that initial ward down, 1:30, or what am I saying? 58 seconds. It means he'll have it for the next ward, which will be around 3 minutes 20, if I can get my numbers out of my mouth. And that means that Zayu, that kind of time where he'll be looking for that top lane gank, he'll have that warded up. Ward goes in the face. Some interesting things going on in that bush. But yeah, 2-0 in this series. Giants are 1 win away from reclaiming their spot in the LCS. Reason Gaming have a long way to go if they want to drag this series back into their favor. 3 games in a row they'll have to win.
And looks like Reason Gaming are trying to counter the swap that could have come in for Giants in this game here by sending Kalista Thresh to the top lane, despite, I mean, it's a fantastic lane, 2-2, and you really want to get that lane matchup. So by them swapping top here, either they were expecting Giants to do it, or they don't want the situation where Hecarim and Rek'Sai together can bully out Kuban like we saw in the first game. Shyvana does really well jungling, but jungling with the smite. Hecarim not running smite himself, so we'll have a small disadvantage there. And he's clearly not expecting a dual lane to show up because he's already walking into lane. Will most likely start pushing it down as well. Now that Kalista shows up, and this could be a freeze for Reason Gaming.
So in the top lane, Whirlip decides to opt away from going for that initial camp. We'll not go for that level 2, and we'll just go into lane with the Chalice and with the potions.
The thing is, he was expecting a one-on-one lane.
Yep.
You're not expecting their Kalista Thresh to swap away from the bottom side. Libic, he got the Crux here, so he's level 2 already, setting up for an early gank in the mid lane.
Oh, Rydell's found Zayu though, and that blue buff will be going over to him. He has been ignited. Flash over the wall from Rydell as well. What more does he have for the follow-up? 3 seconds left on his Q. He doesn't decide to go for it. The minion line did come in. Pepinero in the mid lane has to use that Valkyrie. Libic takes a tower shot and an auto attack for his troubles. Kuban also dropped low as he went for that jungle camp, and now he'll be going into that lane. So Reason Gaming with this lane swap up here. Rydell looking for more things to happen in the mid lane. Flash goes from the side.
2 flashes forced.
2 flashes just from Rydell's roams. Pretty nice from Giants Gaming.
Zombies walk all the way in the face of Takefon. Didn't want to throw out a binding that could have been dodged from him, so just forced the flash away. Meanwhile, Whirlip, because Libic got that level 2 from the camp and he was roaming down, the Kalista was left alone at level 1. Therefore, Whirlip has picked up at least some XP. He's not been getting the last hits, but at least he's getting the experience. Pepinero, trading with Pepinero, has no flash this time around, but you don't really want to do that. Flask Corki, you just want to sit back and farm in the early stages mainly.
No, well, Frederick looking for the gank in top lanes. 2 versus 2. Celiber is jumping away, but Libic doesn't have that luxury. He's still getting chunked down, but there's a lot of damage in return. He's got those E-stacks coming up. Libic does manage to get away. Whirlip is still dropping low as well. Remember, the Ren comes through, gets him with the Pierce, and will continue with the Ren stacks. Doesn't manage to get the second Rens off and take down Frederick. He'll be healing up with the passive, but first blood over to Reason Gaming.
Yeah, Giants trying to gank this top lane here to make sure they
Oh, the hook, it's good! And Zayu comes in from the flank as well to mop him up. The assist goes over to Celaver. Another kill to Reason.
Everything Reason Gaming needs in this game here for them. You got kills on your Kalista early on. You try and shut down that Hecarim. 5 CS only. Look at the difference here. Kuban, 19, he's been farming jungle. He's been getting some farm in the lane where Worlip has simply been missing either the CS or being in a bad spot where he couldn't really get it because Kalista was in the way. And then the gank as well. Really, really greedy play from Giants. And Reason Gaming getting, for the first time in a long time, an early lead.
Well, we'll see if it can continue for the next 5 minutes, Deficio, to try and break the curse. 14 out of 16 games during the Challenger Series. They were behind at 10 minutes. But yeah, Reason Gaming still have a chance to come back into this series. We saw it in the SKT Entis series, where SKT did come back with 3 games in a row. Meanwhile, Worlip is on his own in top lane. Zayu does get in here, lands the flay, lands the follow-up as well. Just get the devastating charge onto Zayu. Auto attacks rain down, and the red buff is enough. Celaver takes another tower shot, is able to marshal poise out of the turret range, however. Meanwhile, Frederick, with his top laner dying, is taking the opportunity to go for this dragon.
Again here, Reason Gaming, they keep just putting focus on shutting down Worlip. Twice he's dead now. So the lanes have really paid off of them getting that early pressure onto him. And very different for Worlip. He's been the guy ahead of Kuban the last 2 games, whereas Kuban's being camped multiple times. He's been happy just farming a bit of jungle, get the farm he could in the lanes. He's so far ahead in terms of CS.
Yeah, that is a horse that is very far behind. He's picked up the cloth armor, so he's looking for the early tabby, trying to get those home guards as fast as possible, as fast can be when you're that far behind. Kuban in the bottom lane will be trying to get some of the CS with the Flame Breath, but he's doing not too badly. He's being able to get a lot of the farm from the bottom side of his jungle, the Merkwolves, the Grump, and just taking the farm as it hits his turret as well. So he's even staying up in terms of levels.
And they can go dive Worlip again. Look at all the wards here from Reason Gaming on this side of the map, so they have full vision of what's going on. He needs to ward the lane here near where the minion comes in, so they can see if anyone is roaming through the lane itself. And therefore you know, okay, there's no chance of anyone from Reason showing up and defending Worlip if you want to go dive in once again. So you're just staying around it. Still like to see that ward in the lane here on the top side. So you can see Frederick is walking from his own tower, but they've already spotted him on the wolves. He cannot walk up here. He knows the entire ward is
lands the lands the Q, lands the flay, lands the follow-up. Gets the body slam, is ticking down from the ignite, and the auto attacks isn't quite enough to take him out, but burns his flash, and then they will be able to take his ward away.
Frederick right now needs to switch his focus. There's the ward in the lane as well from Reason Gaming. You need to switch your focus because the top side, you know it's in control of the other team. You know it's going to be warded up. Bottom lane, Kuban was sitting on like 25% HP. Had Frederick been there, they could have forced him away, denied him some farm instead of just keep letting him free farm in that lane. You secure that tower then. Kuban is even looking to trade with Atri.
Well, he's doing a pretty good job so far, but we'll have the Dragon's Descent away. Clears out the minion line while doing so. You get my teeth in the right place. However, the hook lands over the wall into the flay. Looks for the follow-through with Celaver as well, riding the Fresh Express. We'll get him with the ultimate, the Fate's Call, and the damage, and the flay, and the E, and takes down the Hecarim. Again.
No response yet from Giants. They have not done the same on that bottom side against Kuban. Frederick is there now, but we've already gotten to the point where it's too late and your top lane has fallen too far behind because of everything that's happened. Like, either you go and you basically try and mirror what the enemy team is doing and you go and do the same with their top lane on the bottom side, or you recall your support and jungler and they walk together all the way up to top side, group up with that Hecarim. So you have 3 guys sitting on a tower and you're just trying to secure and farm. But that would be a very weak 3-3 for Giants because they have 2 melee champions in it. So they wouldn't really be able to stop Reason from pushing down and getting some damage on tower, but at least it would buy more time for Worlip to farm. Instead, they just left him alone and not punish Kuban at the same time.
Right now, Celaver as well is still pushing up the top turret, so that's a 1-for-1 trade in terms of turret. You did see the bottom lane from Giants take that one away. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, 65 farm versus 66, very even in the mid lane. It's really the biggest disparities up in the top lane between Kuban and Worlip as they've been going for those solo lanes. Bot lane is slightly in advance to Adri though.
And Giants are really doing Worlip no favors now. Instead of letting him go up top lane and get the wave that was pushing down after the dead tower, they put Adri there. Look at the bottom lane. The wave is frozen by Kuban at the moment. He's probably going to push it down, but he's going to get even more CS while Hecarim is forced to sit on the tower. Not even level 6 yet for him, level 7 for Kuban. So Giants are simply saying, you know what? We don't even care about our top laner right now. We're just going to keep putting him in lanes where there's no farm to get, and we're going to try and push some towers and maybe get a kill on Lipic.
And that will also work too. He gets locked down with the E, with the Q. He's very dead, and that's the first kill on the board for Giants Gaming. They take him out, and can they take anything off the back of it, though? That's the question. Meanwhile, Lip is
3 levels.
Not having a good time in bot lane. Level 5 versus level 8. Doesn't even have his ultimate yet. He does have his Ignite. He has that going for him. Kuban is farming all that he wants, and every time Werlip wants to go in to try and get some farm, he receives a twin bite.
Now he will get some. Meanwhile, Giants setting up a dive on Celabar. Dragon is nearby.
From Frederick, but now Zayu's here as well, so they are able to push him away, repel him. And the constant auto attacks from Celabar mounting up those Ren charges, those Ren stacks. Looking for the Fate's Call. He's a Pokemon Master. Lands it onto Adri, into the Flay as well. Perfect setup, and he takes him down.
This Kalista is really working one. Is Lipic looking for more?
Oh, the hook comes through. Doesn't quite land. Zayu is there. He has the explosive. Karski wall lands it, pins him against the wall, but they have no vision. The Flay lands regardless. There comes down the ward. And Celadus tries to get in range with the heal, but the knockup from Frederick onto 2 players. Right on the rim. Fantastic.
Just managed to stay alive. More importantly for Recent Gaming, they stopped the push now. Werlip is saying, I'm level 6, guys. I can be useful.
I'm relevant. He hasn't come into the fight yet, though. Celabar and Lipic are still caught out. He's trying to get in. He's trying to make himself useful, but his jungler's already died. Goes on to Celabar, finds one, looks for the second. It will go on to Pepinero instead. So that was a pretty good teleport coming through. A 1-for-2 over to Giants. But still, they lost a bunch of members beforehand.
Yeah, they did. 4 kills for Celabar and this Kalista. Really using his strong early game so well. And whenever they chain that CC, he just gets so many Ren stacks. Obviously going BT first as well. So just going to amplify that damage for himself. So Recent Gaming been having a lot better early game compared to what we've seen the last 2 games and what we've seen most of the Challenger series for them as well.
Yeah.
Kuban is so far ahead on this Shyvana. He's just been left to do whatever he wanted. Giants has really messed up the lane swap. And if they cannot even take a top tower with your AD carry up there, you just sacrificed even more farm on your Hecarim without gaining anything.
We're ahead, boys. GG. Got this one under wraps. Lipic taking the ward and completely denying the vision from Giant Gaming. They have literally no idea what's happening behind that wall. Frederick will be taking away that red buff. That's a pony escaping out of the bot lane. Dragon is alive. Has been since very early on to this game. Lipic has been bound up by Rydal here. Oh yeah, it did go down earlier.
Giants got it in the lane swap because they were on the bottom side of the map.
I even said that.
That's also why they decided to swap Adri top, because there was no objective on the bottom side. But Reason were ready for it and just sat and said, okay, if you want to go hit our tower, we're going to kill you. Kuban,
oh, hey.
Still a level ahead here. He was in a lane swap, by the way.
He smites him down. There's the Dragon's Descent, and the dash away and the flash away will keep him alive for now. Kuban will continue to push the top wave, but it's a fair ways away. Meanwhile, Reason Gaming will be starting up this Dragon, getting those Ren stacks down, looking for that instant pop. The crunch with the smite should be enough to secure it, and there is no contest from Giants.
Of course, not Shyvana top lane with TP. They're sitting an 80 carry against her. This is one of the reasons you never want to put your 80 carry against the enemy top laner, because he's going to have that global advantage. He's also going to be a lot stronger than you, unless you're like playing maybe Vayne, and he's just going to push you down every time, and you can't really do anything to defend, so you're just kind of stuck there, not doing a whole lot, and you can't join any fights or anything. So Giants has to swap it around now here. The wave is pushing down. Werlip needs to catch the wave on the top side here very, very soon. He can sit and farm fine and always run away from Kuban if it is, and then just have that TP when it's ready and use it. At the moment, they're just allowing Recent Gaming to control multiple lanes at once, and now he has to swap around. Werlip will get some much-needed farm.
Yeah, Celabar's also getting pretty big right now. He's 4-1-2, has the BS sword, looking towards maybe even the Bloodthirster. See what type of build he goes for this game. There is a little bit of a difference in what Kalista players like to go for. Comes out with the PS. There is a Lipic right behind him, though, so this will be the 2 versus 2, but Frederick is heading down into the bottom jungle. There's a lot of wards there from both teams, so he probably will be spotted. In fact, the ping does go down, so he has been sighted. Meanwhile, Zayu is up there.
The damage.
The damage.
Early BF sword Kalista has so much damage. Just a few spears and then you pop your Rend as well. This is one of the games where you can also go Hurricane to get some extra wave clear, and because there's only one tank on the side of Giants, you will get these Hurricane stacks onto the squishy targets and can do a lot of damage. But what we're seeing mainly from Kalista players, especially after Cinderhulk, is you just go BT into Phantom Dance or Static Shift, and you focus more on your single target damage because you have to be able to deal with this front line before you do anything else. That's why Hurricane doesn't offer you anything in terms of killing tanks, really.
Yep, different this game, however. The tanks are on his team. He has those two Cinderhulk players right now.
Only the Hecarim, who's so far behind.
Ahead.
That's the only tank.
So far behind, yeah. Libic gets bound up. Fate's Core comes in and denies a little bit of damage here. So we do have this Zayu coming into the bot side, looking for this explosive cast, coming in, potentially looking to land the hook, but they do not decide to go for it. They are trying to go for this turret though, and they might jump back in onto this Libic. It's a little risky. Let's see if they can defend this turret.
It's very simple but very smart what Reason is doing. They know they're stronger in every single lane except for the mid lane where it's pretty even. So just keep pushing down these side lanes here and you will always be able to get some damage on towers. You don't really need to force any plays at the moment. Just keep chipping away slowly. Nothing Giants can do except for making maybe over-aggressive play. And you have the tools to always counterplay that because you got TP and Kuban. You should have the map control in terms of vision as well to spot if the enemy jungler is moving around. So Reason just playing very smart, very calmly, poking away the towers. Cinderhulk here for Frederick. So because they're running Hecarim top, he feels like they have enough damage and he can go tank Rek'Sai instead, which is something we see in other regions quite a lot. And in this case, they have a lot of damage from other sources, so it's okay. But he's never really gonna match Gragas in terms of late game scaling.
Yeah, he's also gone for that skirmishes on the side of Gragas, 2-0 and 2. He's fairly far ahead. He's also gone for the Sightstones, looking for that increased vision. They are ahead, so they'll be putting that down, but they should be getting those upgraded trinkets as well at some point in the future. They are ahead, so having even more vision would be great for them. Salva right on the tip of that skill shot does get bound, but there is no follow-up. Peppernero has gotten his Triforce finally, and is farming pretty well in this game, but it's like you said in Champion Selector Fish Show, just a farm lane.
It is just a farm lane, yeah. Let's see Frederick, Zayu on the Gragas. Come down towards this bottom side here, secure that tower, maybe even a kill on Frederick.
Oh, gets hooked in, the box does land as well. He'll be jumping away with a flash, gets the Rend, gets the follow-up with the Fate's Call, but he is tanking up this turret. Adjui tries to return with the damage, doesn't quite have it just yet. Server going underneath that turret, wants Zayu to be the one tanking, but it's actually going to go over to Fresh, gets the body slam and the Drunken Rage. Adjui doesn't quite have the damage, but he will flash away. Here comes the teleport now onto that minion. It is Whirlup, he has the ultimate, he gets the kill onto Libic, looking for another one onto Zayu, lands a devastating charge, and also the Ignite with the auto attack. Double kill goes in for the Hecarim, trying to catch up into this game. Celeber now going toe-to-toe with Peppernero in the mid lane. Takefun's there to follow up, and he will detonate him with the E-stacks, and will be escaping for this one. So overall, that was a 2 for 2.
Yeah, everything missed here for Peppernero when Celebar came in, the big rocket and so on. But we saw Reason saying, okay, we put our Gragas on the bottom side. We want to take that tower here. Got a few kills for it. TP turned around, no response from Kuban. Mid tower will go down though for Reason Gaming. So all in all, despite giving over a few kills, they do get more from this than Giants. And this bot lane tower, remember, is still very, very low. That's an easy one for them to take. Peppernero back in base. Decided just to go straight Haunting, guys. Didn't have the goal to go for the large rod, it appears. So he's really been set behind in terms of his build, because you want that Luden's Echo as early as possible. And suddenly the poke is not that dangerous.
All right.
Okay, so Gragas coming in, yeah. Because Zayu knows that we're winning the bottom lane, we can take that tower very easily. They go for the dive as well. Libic tanking up at first. Now TP comes in. That's the important one. Adri stays alive for a long time, using the tower for his protection. No TP from Kuban. Once we see it come in for the Hecarim, there we go. And he will end up getting 2 kills for himself. And then it's really just about Peppernero missing everything. We just follow the Kalista. Look at this. Big rocket, Fossil's bomb, and then with Lulu there as well. That's just another kill for Kalista.
Yep, jumping around.
Bot lane tower.
Ultimate comes through, interrupts the E from Adri, in fact, and will be dragging him back in with the Flay. Tries to get the damage onto Libic, but there's not quite enough in time before he drops down. He only just came back from the spawn pad. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Kuban will be teleporting in before the tower dies. She'll be able to clear out this minion wave, and it is a dead Lucian, but now Celeber and Zayu are taking this bottom turret in response. That's a lot of attack speed from Celeber. That tower dies very, very quickly. 7-1 and 3 in this game, Deficio. He is doing exceptionally well. He really is that kind of silent carry that we'll be calling him through the Challenger Series. He just accumulates kills, and then he's late game, and he murders everyone.
Reason has also just played around him so much. Every time Giants tried to make a play on Celaver, multiple members from Reason were there to help him out, and he got early kills top lane. It was Frederick and Whirlip who went for 2v2 fight up in that top lane in the lane swap, end up giving over the first one to the Kalista. And ever since, it's just been one way for Celaver, and that's forward. More and more kills for him, more and more gold. 2 items already completed. The Hurricane is going to do wonders in terms of fighting because there's not enough tankiness on the side of Giants. It's going to hurt him in late game, but Reason not even looking to go late game here because you're so far ahead already. Why would you start building towards late game?
Yep, no reason at all. Top lane, Whirlip has finally got his Triforce, so he's got the core item build down. Just needs to flesh out the item build with some tanky stats now. Still can't be the initiator for the team. Is thriving much better in these skirmishes, these follow-up fights, rather than being a front line for them, since he isn't really a front line. Frederick going through that jungle now, going for that Grump. Gets it with the Prey Seeker. Taking a look at that top lane, yes, he's still behind the top lane, but those 3 kills helped him a lot against Kuban, so he will be able to stand up against them, even though he's now in the bottom lane right now, still farming.
Well, the thing is, we've hit the point where Shyvana beats Hecarim anyway in one-on-one, so that lane is only going to be pushed down by Kuban over and over and over. And then it's just going to be about the remaining 4 members from Reason. Can they create a play on the opposite side of the map of where Kuban is? Because you know he's going to get down to these towers. Obviously waiting for his TP, but might just look for another one on Adri. A lot of damage.
He's slowed down. Frederick is there to Chilling Smite, but there's the ultimate Dragon Descent. Lands onto Adri, but he is able to get away. The Binding lands, but the Lantern is there for him to take just a second. And the Dragon flies over to Fresh. That is Whirlip heading back to base. He doesn't have teleport, though.
And remember when we have a Kalista in the game, early Barons is suddenly a thing. They saw Hecarim on the bottom side. He's just recalled. Nobody's reacting for Giants. There's a pink ward placed and no wards in the river at all. Riley's going to walk in to check this one. They should expect it. But there's Kalista stacked now with the Rend. That's gone.
Yeah, and so is Rydell. He gets dragged in. He just wanted the ward, but it's just too late. They all disappeared off the map and it's like, something's up. And it was Baron.
Well, it's not any longer.
No, it's dead. Because Reason Gaming have it, and now they're going to siege with it. And they're pushing down the middle lane. They have Rydell as well, 4 versus 5. This is as good as it gets.
Reason is really getting everything they want. The first time we see them win the early game. And they just push the advantage really, really well. They get all the outer turrets. They start an early Baron. Say to Giants, if you want to come face check or stop this Baron, you're going to be forced to team fight us. If not, we're just going to take it for free, and then we're going to use this buffed up minions. Pushing down. Suddenly the Shyvana can also take towers with the minions. Whirlip won't be able to go and do a whole lot. And Reason Gaming, they're building to close out the game, and they're playing to it as well.
Yeah, we were talking during the break as well about how watching Reason Gaming is like an emotional roller coaster, but so far it's just been all uphill for them. And as Whirlip is closing in from the backside, doesn't manage to get in range of Kuban. Now they're just pushing the mid lane as well. Reason Gaming are really just taking this game by the horns. And Kuban is still just pressuring from the left-hand side. It's stopping the constant poke from Pepinero and drawing it to himself means the rest of his team can take the middle turret.
Such a problem for Pepinero. He had to go Leandris first. Didn't see how much gold he had when he went back and got that Horning, guys, but we must assume he didn't have the 1600, otherwise there's no reason to go for it. And really, it's just hurting his poke a lot for himself. 2 towers now. All outer turrets are gone. We're 22 minutes in. Reason Gaming is in a position where they should not be able to lose this game. Now comes the tricky part, though, where you got to break into the enemy base.
Yeah,
but for them, honestly, they can even wait for another Baron and then do the same push before. 4 guys together, and then the Shyvana, the all-in. At least you got 2 waves pushing in. Giants trying to take just the tower in the mid lane to get some gold.
Yeah, some nice timing, but we do have the teleport in from Kuban, though. He's coming in from the left-hand side into this fight. He's got the home guards. He hasn't been seen just yet, but Giants have already gone down under exited stage right this time. Lands the Flame Breath, have maybe found Rydell. He does have his flash to go, not over the wall. He tries to juke them with the vision, but Kuban's already in the bush. He can see you, and Morgana dies.
Morgana dies. That opens up for the mid lane suddenly for Reason Gaming with only 4 guys for Giants. That's exactly what they needed. A way to easily get down that inhibitor turret and get into the base of Giants. They should be able to force it here. They might even just go for a dive. I mean, pull up that Thresh, throw him into the enemy team, and they're gone anyway.
Yeah, see if he can just toss him into the front line. But the inhibitor goes down, and Reason Gaming just brute force their way into the base. Kuban's just so strong on the front lines. Zayu, yes, he'll take poke, but Takefun's there with the help picks with the shield. He's just going to be able to tank for days, and now they just move into the top lane.
And the very surprising thing is, Kalista was banned earlier in this series by Giants. This game, on blue side, they decided to ban their LeBlanc for themselves. They went away from that ban. Now, obviously, it's also been misplaced for them, giving so many kills to Celebar, but this matchup, or this setup with the Kalista and Thresh, has worked so well for Reason.
Yeah, it was really interesting because they really didn't want to play against the LeBlanc because it is in Takefun's champion pool. He's big about the Zed. He's a huge LeBlanc player. And I guess they just really wanted to go for the Corki. Yeah, it worked out last game, but you give up the Kalista and look how well it's done.
Yeah, just some misplays for Giants early on has really made it look a lot worse as well for them. This time we don't see them have the Gragas either, which has been a very big pick in this series. Been working wonders for either team whenever they were playing it. Top lane tower is open, it's very low. Reason Gaming though, setting their sights on the Dragon, and then you got a big wave on the bottom lane. Sadly, Corki will get to play it out, and you have to rebuild these waves here. So that's gonna buy a bit of time for Giants now to defend. But as long as Reason start a slow push on one lane, then go 1-4 on the other two, they will have pressure everywhere. I mean, the mid lane is obviously going to push already, so ignore that slow push. That's going to happen by itself.
But even in a head-on confrontation, like, Reason Gaming are just so far ahead in terms of item builds and in terms of how strong their characters are. Yeah, it should never be close. Here the quotation marks. But Libic and Zayu now pushing in the bottom lane. They are pushing the top lane, the middle lane. Here comes the teleport as well from Hecarim. Is it going to be enough? Can he get in range? He moves on to Takefun. Kind of just knocks him away from the rest of the team. Finally uses his ultimate onto Libic and Zayu. Picks up the first one, looking for the next one onto Gragas. They do have Celebar way away from the fight, so there's not much he can do about it. But the Whimsy and the help picks keep Zayu alive for now. Takefun, the real MVP of this one, keeps his ally alive. Does get hit by the binding, but the shields will keep him alive as well. Now Kumon comes into the fight. He gets blasted down by the Hecarim. He's looking for even more damage to happen. Celebar now comes into the fight. I'm surprised he wasn't split pushing elsewhere, but he now comes into this one, and there is the recalls from Rido, but they can't afford to recall right in front of the faces of Reason.
So Giants got one kill here. They tried to force a fight because Reason Gaming was split pushing. Kuban had no TP. Celebar was sitting mid lane as well, but only got one kill to Lulu, and the utility shop was working wonders there. Takefun is kiting around, keep on buffing that Gragas. And that was one of the ways for Giants to try and get back in the game. Almost completely avoided by Reason Gaming, and they're waiting for this Baron to respawn. Then you go set up vision around the Baron again. And you can have the same situation where Giants either has to go and face check into a team fight, or just give it up and then have these buffed up minions they have to deal with. So Baron is gonna be the one for Reason Gaming.
Right now, 12-6 on the scoreboard. Reason Gaming ahead in this game by almost 6,000 gold. They have those 3 dragons over the 1 dragon from Giants. Remember, this is still 0-2 total in this best-of-5 series, but this is a good step in the right direction if they are to pull it back. Takefun is now taking the crab.
People like Loot and Zeko way too much for certain reasons later on in the game. It is a great, I mean, again, I love it as an early item to really snowball because of the damage it does provide, but on a Lulu as a third item, I don't really see why you do it too much. First of all, you're not really spamming that many abilities on yourself, so you're not stacking it that fast. You don't Whimsy yourself either in most team fights.
I run around in a circle and generate stacks.
You don't get that extra movement speed either. You would most likely Whimsy your AD carry and shield him up and everything. But I think for Takefun, it's more just, I'm so far ahead. I had to go for another large rod. I would have then preferred the Hourglass, but when you have this lead, sometimes you're about, okay, just get as much damage as possible, and then we look to close out anyway. Baron is spawning in 8 seconds. Kuban, it's being annoying as we've seen him all game long.
Yeah, that's pretty much his job in this game, though. And Adri throws out the culling, does a whole lot of nothing. And Pepinera with the rest of the team pushing down the mid lane. Those super minions are still there. Big wave in the bottom lane from Reason Gaming, though. That's been set up beforehand a couple minutes ago. And they are all waiting in that bush. Have been seen out by that ward, however. Now waiting in this little bush in the river. See if they can catch anyone out. Werlib is the one leading the charge. Those Sentinels are keeping track of them, though. And the bot lane is still a thing that Giants will have to deal with. The Baron has now been started by Reason Gaming, looking to turn around and maybe try and get on them. Kuban looking for the one to go for the initiate into the Wild Growth. Werlib comes in with the big ultimate onto the back line, also with Frederick to assist. 2 versus the Ward right now. Ryder will be blasted into the team. Baron is assisting with the damage as well, and the Frost Bomb comes through, but the front line is disintegrated. The back line from Giants was basically non-existent, and they just lose 2 members for that one. Now the Baron will be going down. Kuban wanted the recall, but Baron says, nope, you'll have to kill me instead, and this will be going over to Reason Gaming with no contest.
Keep in mind that Corki is very, very weak at this point. Doesn't really add a whole lot of damage from Pepinero. So the back line were just staying very far back, and Reason Gaming then with an untouched Kalista managed to get another fight, another Baron. This should be all they need to close out this game here. Extend the series as well. It's 2-0 Giants. They're like, looking at, oh, is Reason running out of options here? Let's look at it again. So look at the damage for the backline of Giants onto someone like Kuban here. He's so farmed and so fed on the Shyvana. And while Reason is tanking Baron, and that's a great ult from Werlib, look at Celabar. He's getting the shields from the Lulu. Has the BT as well. Nobody's going to take him down. And beautiful ulti coming in from the Gragas, knocking the carries back again. Pepinero just not able to do anything together with Adri. And then the front line dies, and as soon as they're dead, you have to run away.
Yeah, what a great Gragas ultimate. Meant that Adri was essentially doing nothing for a large portion of that fight. Now Reason Gaming have mobilized into the mid lane, putting down that barrel for zone control. Middle inhibitor goes down again, and now they're just looking to take a different lane. Bot lane's pushing, top lane is not pushing in their favor, but still they have another lane to go to. Frederick will be using the Void Rush. He's out of there, and he's back in mid lane.
Well, now he's back in mid lane, and Reason Gaming is going to push the bottom side. Got the buffed up minions. Could have put Shyvana top lane, but maybe they're afraid of Giants getting some sort of hard engage where Kuban won't be able to TP in time. Would really prefer him though to just split push here, so you have 2 lanes with buffed up minions. But they're still going to take down his tower. I mean, again, it's small things for them. It just makes it a little bit more difficult.
Oh, the hook onto Adri as well, followed by the Dragon's Descent. And this is now a 5 versus 4 underneath the turret, but the turret doesn't even matter that it's there. Celabar follows up with the Pierce as well. But it's just so much damage in such a little amount of time, and Adri is already gone. This could be the game right here and now, Deficio.
Yeah. The thing is, Reason are so far ahead by them just grouping. That is perfectly fine as well. Kuban is recalling now.
Pepinero taken out by the damage from Take Fun. Look at that Luden's Echo value.
Well, Reason Gaming are not done yet.
They are not indeed, Deficio. They take down the first Nexus turret. There goes the second. And they will be coming back in this series with a win. Now 2-1. Giants Gaming, they still have another game to go at least if they want to make it back into the LCS.
And Reason Gaming just completely outplayed Giants in the lane swap. Completely. There was no response for Giants, or no right response in terms of how do we deal with our Hecarim being camped? Should we do the same to Shyvana? Now we just leave her alone to farm. Kuban was like 50 or 60 CS ahead of the Hecarim in the early game. We got early kills on the Kalista. Obviously just transitioned back down to the 2v2 lane and kept going, because why would you stop? Kalista Thresh is already a fantastic kill lane. So all in all here for Reason Gaming, with a good lane swap, they finally got a lead early on, and they showed how to push it as well. 2 Barons was all they needed to end the game. They got all the outer turrets. The second one was them just playing it safe, and that's totally okay. You don't have to go for anything over aggressive there, because you're so far ahead already. Get that second Baron, win the game.
Yeah, I cannot stress how well the early game was played by them. They camped the Hecarim, they shut him down. It meant that he could never trade up against the Shyvana, so he could never be in the one-on-one against him. Yeah. And then they just pushed everything in. It was great.
Hecarim shouldn't have stayed in that lane. I mean, what do you want to do in a lane swap for him? If you knew the lane swap was coming, you would obviously been double jungling. Yeah. And therefore, you would not be in that bad situation where you can get hooked in the early game and killed. He didn't expect them to show up. So when he went into lane, he started pushing it. He was like, oh, there are 2 people top lane here. Okay, it's a dual lane. And then he stayed around, and they tried to send up Rek'Sai to gank the lane instead, which was just so risky because the enemy jungler can also show up and it's a 3v2, and that really cost them a lot, that he wasn't double jungling. Or they were like fast pushing the bottom lane, take that tower, end the lane swap so Hecarim could get farm. Just a lot of problems there for Giants with the way they were reading a situation and reacting in time to what Reason were doing. That's why Reason got such a big lead and won the game.
Yeah, it really rippled from the early game. It was just well executed from Reason Gaming. It's just a question of whether they can do that multiple games in a row, and whether they another 2 games in a row from here would net them the spot in the LCS. But if they can do that again, I mean, I don't feel like Giants, they can rely on the fact that Giants are going to make mistakes in every single game and say, you're going to make a mistake at minute 4, and we're going to win the game from here.
No, but we have seen, at least in the way they've been trying to always change the pick and ban phase. Kalista was now open because LeBlanc was banned by Giants, which was the surprising one. they're obviously going to go for that one again if it's open and try and play the same way.
Well, that's what we thought. And now for a look at how Reason brought this set to 2-1, we're going to hand it back to Quickshot and the crew at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. What a great game. We do have a series on our hands. Reason Gaming completely outplaying Giants at nearly every turn. Let's start with the obvious. Now we know why Kalista's been banned in the previous game. And let's talk about that early game and just how Selavar was able to snowball that lead from the lane swap. Maybe Sheepy, care to chime in?
Yeah, I think that the Kalista just came out really huge. We saw the early invade, and it worked out really, really well. And I think that just the 3-0 early lead by Reason Gaming set them up for a really fantastic game. Kalista just kept them snowballing. The Thresh pick came out huge, hitting like so many hooks.
So many hooks, but again, that Kalista, I want to kind of draw back to our regular season because Kalista was a champion that we saw Selavar play a couple of times, 2-2 in the regular season. But Selavar's KDA has been particularly better on Kalista than a lot of other champions. Only really Tristana played out better for him. So not surprising to see it work to that good of an effect coming out when it's been available. Now I think Giants are probably going to say, oh, let's not do that one again. Let's ban that in the next game.
And interesting to see it, Giants with Werlib going back to Hecarim, the champion that helped them win 2 games in week 9, I believe it was. Now not working out in their favor. Werlib, yes, he was punished. Yes, he got, caught out by so many of those hooks by Libic over and over. Let's talk about the mid game. Reason, they got a lead. They had very strong carries. And then they got an early Baron. Do you feel the mid game was strong or not? Because it kind of took 10 or 12 minutes to actually close the game out after that first Baron was secured.
I think they should have been more decisive. They let a lot of space for Giants to actually come back into the game. And I think that if they close it out smoother, especially with the power spike they have with Thresh, Kalista, go onto a lane, let Shyvana split push, make sure that you have the TP if they want to engage on you, and just snowball out the game from there.
It's a very weird situation because while maybe they weren't so decisive on a lot of their calls when it comes to objectives, one of the things I really liked out of Reason actually was they started to be decisive on how to shut down Hecarim further. You saw the ward in the middle of the lane, and then just combo off it. As soon as Hecarim passed it up on the top side, passes the ward, they're expecting him hook, Gragas gank. That was decisive out of Reason. That was very good out of Reason to know where the weakness is and shut it down.
Yeah, and I think this actually shows that another strong pick that comes out in the series is the Shyvana. Doing twice really, really well, was up, I think, 20, 30, 40 CS. Split pushing, and honestly, I think the only time that we actually saw that it was a drawback was when the Hecarim came in with the TP play.
Yeah, the Hecarims have kind of been a little bit lackluster this series, and specifically to talk about CS. So Werlib, after being up so much in CS games 1 and 2, this time at 10 minutes, 33 CS down in his lane. So Kuban, on the other hand, just sat in a 1v2.
I think the fact that he'd been killed 3 times by a Kalista Thresh may have affected his CSing. I do want to go back to the teleport Hecarim plays because it is in fact our replay. And I think the over-aggressive start, or the good aggressive start for Reason, could have come back to bite them just a little bit. So this is basically the story of the game. A death sentence leads to Selavar getting damage, and then all of a sudden we're going to see a Werlib teleport in a moment or two. Talk me through this tower dive, Sheepy.
You see again what I said before. They have a really good setup and they can close it out really nicely, but then at this point they just give too much opportunity. Thresh flashes out with the Lantern, wanting to disengage, but Xayah goes all the way. Libic misses the hook and it's like a 1v1 with tower DPS on the Gragas. And they lose so much HP and DPS, and being so low, Hecarim TPs in exactly what the Hecarim should do at this point. Get an easy double kill here. And yeah, Kalista goes out unscathed and going into the jungle, where they actually have a 2v2 play here. Pepinero, several really nice Kalista mechanics, just jumping around, dodging as much stuff as possible.
And in contrast to game 1, where Pepinero was a game changer on an assassin, I think you can see his uncomfort, his lack of comfort is a much better way of saying it, on that Corki, I think, just getting outplayed. So 2-1 now to Reason Gaming. They pick up a win while on the red side. Reason now going into game 4 with some confidence, with some momentum on the side. We have to expect the Kalista ban away. What else can Reason Gaming hope for? Because, Sheep, you were talking Thresh, Shyvana, Stress, maybe what are your thoughts for Reason going into game 4?
So Reason on game 4, now they're on red side again. I guess, they're on blue side. So I probably would stray away from the Hecarim, pick up something like the Gragas. Again, it worked out very well for Reason in that. Look to first pick it. Whirlib, if you give him Hecarim, we've just seen, not so great at the beginning. Yes, he starts getting back into it. I think that has to be kind of where you look for Reason here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Gragas pickup could be huge. We saw like Shyvana coming out really huge, but also the Gragas pick was something that just had
well, for a team that has just won a game, that looks like a concerned face to me. I mean, that's Reason Gaming now talking backstage. Veggie, their coach there in the blue shirt, and the mountain of a man just played Thresh. That is, of course, Libic, for any of our viewers who may not know. Arguably the biggest support player in the world. I don't have that verified, but I mean, that's not the look of a team who's just won a game and kept their chances alive. You're a coach here. Yeah. If those were your players, what would you be saying? What is Veggie saying to Reason Gaming?
I would get them to the edge of the play because they just did a really good job. They went 3-0, they had a lead, and they closed it out. Not in the finest manner, but they did it. So you should claw back on there, say, what did you do positive? Like, where did you see the advantages and where did you snowball them? And then just motivate the player to play towards their strengths.
Now, what about the other side, Giants, who might be struggling, or care to chime in on Reason?
I think realistically, you have to still be somewhat reserved, regardless of whether you just won the game, regardless of whether you're 2 games up. Again, this is a series to determine who's going into the LCS. You don't want to be like, yes, we won a game, sweet, we're nearly there, and then be overconfident.
But you shouldn't be like,
yeah,
you know, you just won a game that was kind of lucky. Let's go into the next one. You should really
happy medium. Nice,
medium.
Composed. That's what you ideally want, but emotions run wild in games like this.
Yeah, and we'll find out whether or not those emotions will be controlled as we are going to get into Game 4 shortly. But for now, Reason is still on the ropes. They need to take the next game to just stay alive, and then the next game, if they want that seat in the LCS. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with this battle between Poland and Spain.
Want Zayu to be the one tanking, but it's actually going to go over to Fresh. Gets the body slam and the drunken rage. Actually doesn't quite have the damage, but he will flash away. Is it going to be enough? Can he get in range? He moves on to take fun. Kind of just knocks him away from the rest of the team. Finally uses his ultimate onto Libic, and Zayu picks up the first one. Also with Frederick to assist. 2 versus the ward right now. Ryder will be blasted into the team. Baron is assisting with the damage as well. Oh, the hook onto Adri as well, followed by the Dragon's Descent. And this is now a 5 versus 4 underneath the turret, but the turret doesn't even matter that it's there. And they will be coming back in this series with a win. Now 2-1.